Hey everybody, welcome to Currently Queer, a spinoff of the Everybody's Little Bit Queer podcast. Before we start this episode, I just want to let everybody know that this episode does deal with some pretty sensitive topics of suicide and murder, and there's also some pretty sensitive conversations that are going to take place on today's episodes. With that, welcome, and we hope you enjoy the show. I know, it's kind of fun.
We get the gay colors.
It makes us gay.
Makes us gay. Welcome, everyone, to Everyone's a Little Queer. Mark and I have decided, now that we've done 10 episodes, kind of branch
Has it been
out.
10?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've done, Kelly's was 10.
Cool.
I know.
Look
That's
at us
very
go.
exciting. And we have a few more that we're doing all within the next 3 weeks.
Stack them up.
I know, it's great. But we decided we would like to do more queer informational, just kind of what's going on in the world and kind of being there and not just sharing journeys, but sharing live what's happening in life as people out there try to find liberty and pursue that happiness, right?
Yeah.
So we're calling this now Currently Queer.
Currently Queer.
It's going to be maybe once a week. Do you want to do once a week?
Once a week, maybe. We'll see how we do. Every other week in between guests. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I like
for
that
now,
idea.
I think every other week in between guests.
Okay.
We'll see how we grow. But that's one of our goals for 2026 is to grow the pod and see where we lead and try and grow our audience some more. And we would love some input from you guys. So as we grow the pod, maybe we'll add more podcast episodes.
Yeah.
For now, we're going to start a little spin-off series here called Currently Queer.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it. And it's not going to be just news because we decided we don't want just news because the news is always sad.
Not necessarily. I have some
Yeah,
nice
some good
things,
stuff, but
some
it's
good
just-
things, but
We want to be able to find things out there that are going to be just kind of uplifting or that are informational. That I have something I want to talk about towards the end and one of my things, and then kind of a little promotion for a couple of the areas around. So, do you want to start?
I think it's meant to be informative. And then another big thing that I want this spin-off, I guess, to be is, first of all, hi, I'm part of it.
Yes.
Besides just the behind the scenes.
Well,
but,
you're part of it because so many people have said how much they love you being on it.
which flatter me.
Yes.
But I do think that it's important for also those who want to share their queer stories, who don't feel comfortable necessarily being on the podcast themselves. If you want, you can head over to any of our social medias, head up that link tree, link number 2. And if you want to submit your story but don't want to share it yourself, we can share it for you. You can do it anonymously. Anonymously. Words are hard. We'll share it for you. We can include your name. We can not include your name. But, it's just another way to get more queer stories out there from people who may not fully be comfortable being on a podcast. So we can do that on this spin-off series. But
Yeah.
for today, I think we're going to focus on some currently queer
Current events.
Media,
Things happening. A lot has happened.
maybe television. Ooh. That's another thing. Yeah, we could do queer TV, queer movies. Ooh, there's so much to delve into.
I think we just talk about queer things.
Queer things.
Yeah. Currently queer is just talking about queer things in between people's journeys.
Yes.
Because shit's happening.
Who 2026 is starting off with
She rough.
I don't want to say, because that'd be a bad pun intended. All right. Anyway.
You ready? Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I'll go first. We
Okay.
can do some fun, happy news.
Yeah. I mean, I have happy news and stuff.
Yeah, I mean.
Also, I have notes.
I do.
I was told that we were going to be doing this and he wanted to do it. And then I took it as an assignment.
I have things bookmarked on my phone
That's
to talk
perfect.
about. So, first thing that I think is, important. Unfortunately, we are in 2026, approaching the second full year of the Trump administration. May us all please rest in peace and pray for ourselves. Well, because we are in this fascist regime, a lot of funding has been cut for LGBTQ organizations, LGBTQII+ rights organizations and support groups. And the only Miss Mackenzie Scott said, "No, ma'am."
No.
She said,
No,
"No, ma'am." She came through and she said, "Hi, I am going to give all of the monies. And she said, I don't care that I'm not married to you anymore, Jeff Bezos, and you can go off and marry your ugly or supermodel girlfriend in Italy, but that's not going to stop me because we're divorced and I got a divorce settlement. And my divorce settlement is billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And so you know what she's deciding to do with her billions of dollars? Is she's donating those billions of dollars. And with her billions of dollars that she gets to donate to wherever she feels fit because she's a queen, she decided that she's donating $45 million to the one, the only, the Trevor Project.
I know. It's amazing. That is what billionaires should be doing with their money, is donating shit like that to because that $45 million is like nothing to her.
No.
Nothing to her.
It's nothing to her, but it's life-changing to the organization, and
Yes.
it's literally saving lives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It will fund the Trevor Project for a long while and be
So,
able to help out.
Speaking of that, this gift is the largest donation in the organization's history. And according to CEO of the Trevor Project, James Black, he said he literally could not believe it, and it took some time before he actually grasped what was going on.
I love that she did that, and I know everybody knows that it was her, but I absolutely would have loved if she would have wrote that check and in the memo put, "Thanks, Jeff Bezos."
Or that. But the biggest thing, though, so it says here, the Trump administration stopped providing specific support for gay and trans and gender nonconforming youth groups and people who used to call 988 the National Suicide and Crisis Prevention Line. And so the Trevor organization was one of the organizations that staffed that option, and they lost $25 million in funding through that. And so Miss Mackenzie Scott said, hey.
So it's incredible. And again, that's what these billionaires need to be doing with their money.
That is what they should be doing on this.
Yeah, instead of buying up social media and then just being a Nazi shithead the whole time.
Well, yeah.
Well, you know what? That is actually a...
Well, can I finish? I'm not done.
Go ahead. Oh my
Since
gosh.
988 ended, aka the phone number that used to be there to help support people, the Trevor Project has their own hotline, and that hotline has become extremely important to helping mental health support for queer young people. And so this funding is going to help keep that the Trevor Project's line up and going, and then also it's going to help provide the support. Their services fill a gap in the generic crisis lines simply that aren't designed to meet, particularly for young people facing identity-based stress, isolation, rejection. The Trevor Project has faced internal turmoil after its budget grew from around $4 million in 2016 to over $83 million in 2023. Wow. See, there's a lot in here. Mackenzie Scott folks were clear. This gift was made for the long-term impact. You go, girl.
Yeah. That's great.
Good for you, Mackenzie Scott. You give that money to the Trevor Project, and you help those queer youth, and you support all of those people who need to use the Trevor Project, because honestly, Trevor Project, she slays.
Well, they're there to help people who are, especially in this day and age, who are being vilified left and right, and think that there is unfortunately only one way out of being vilified, to save a life, because every life is important. And we shouldn't be vilifying people just because they're queer or trans or however they decide to express themselves among the spectrum.
I mean, well, that's the big thing, though. Is Trevor Project is a nonprofit suicide prevention organization.
Yes. So
Mackenzie
anybody
Scott
can use
is
it.
literally saving lives.
Yeah, and anybody can use it too.
Yeah, you don't have to be LGBTQI+.
No.
And now that 988's gone,
call the Trevor Project.
Call the Trevor Project, and Mackenzie Scott's going to help fund that for the next long times.
In the crazy shit that is happening every 30 minutes in this world, call the Trevor. If you need help, call the Trevor Project.
You should call the Trevor Project if you need help. Which, speaking of that, if you do need to call the Trevor Project, go ahead and do so, and you can call their 24/7 hotline, which is 1-866-488-7386. You can also go to their website where you can chat with them, call them at that number, or you can text them at 678678. Thank you, Mackenzie Scott.
I think the texting option is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because so many, especially younger generations now, and we see it with our kids, prefer to text.
Oh, 100%. I even prefer to text.
I mean, yeah.
But fun fact, the Trevor Project has trained counselors that understand the challenges of LGBTQ plus young people face and are available 24/7. Like I said, you can send them a text. All you have to do is text START to 678-678. Anyway, I'm just really happy. It's nice to see somebody who has billions of dollars do something good with it for once and not just give in to the oligarchy of the Trump fascist regime.
Yeah, fly their planes around, go to space a couple times.
Yeah.
Do all the bullshit.
Buy Venice for a BS wedding to your new boob job wife.
If I could, I would buy Venice to do a wedding. I would get married in Venice.
Yeah, but we're not. The people of Italy, and specifically Venice themselves, were freaking pissed.
Well, yeah, because of who it was. But if you were like a good person, they probably would have like.
You can be a good person, but no one's gonna want you to come into their city and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna take over." It was more the fact that he took over the city.
If his princess died, they would have.
No,
I think so.
Agree to disagree.
Well,
either way, we're not having it.
Yeah. Are you good? Can I roll off of yours then? Because I wasn't gonna talk. Oh, I have this one here, but I was gonna like.
He has his notes.
I have my notes. You said we were doing this. I had to have notes. Well, to roll off on that, then, kind of in the beginning of where you were talking about cutting funding for so many things, and I did research onto this, and it's not just the U.S. because we know that Trump administration pulled a lot of funding in a lot of areas that he and his administration deemed fit. One of those was the HIV and AIDS prevention. And this is the first year since the 80s or early 90s that they didn't even do that recognition day for that. But it's not just the US either. The UK has pulled a lot of their funding out for HIV AIDS awareness. And one of the leaders, so they're reducing the efforts, and they were actually on track to be of 2030 to bring the HIV public threat down to where it wasn't going to be considered a global threat anymore. They were, 4 years away?
Well, but then also you cut funding for USAID and...
Yeah. They've estimated since that 150,000 people have died because of it.
Positive HIV news. I saw on the somewheres the other day that they eradicated HIV from another person. So
yes.
Science, it's sciencing.
But that's what I was getting at.
Oh, sorry.
So thank you.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No thunder's stolen. I'm just saying that it's a lot of that funding, though, and HIV AIDS research and cures and the medical research that has done that for those 2 people. I think it's like 2 people and a mouse.
There was another one like a week ago.
Yeah, that all of this stuff is happening because of people who are donating. One of the big donations funding is you can do it here locally in the United States. We have Vivint Health, and they are in, I think, 4 or 5 different states, but they have, I think, 12 different facilities, right?
I think it's more than that.
Yeah, it's a lot, but they're huge, and they do a ton of healthcare for HIV/AIDS awareness, and then they do a lot for the Kansas City. I know especially the Kansas City AIDS Walk and AIDS Foundation is huge. But also the Elton John AIDS Foundation pumps a lot of money into this research that has led to finding and eradicating these cures and everything. So even without this governmental help and assistance, they're still finding ways to do it, but it's even more that we need to...
Question.
Yes.
The government assistance and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But that also goes towards like assistance for people to pay for like medication. No?
Yes.
So like people who are low income and have been on PrEP for free because of government assistance.
Correct.
May not be able to afford to get PrEP on their own.
Right.
Without said government assistance.
Yes. So it's... Yeah. That's real shitty, but it's where stepping up to help these. There's also a lot of...
Hey, Mackenzie Scott. Just kidding.
Mackenzie Scott. But places like Q-Care is another good one, and Q-Care does a lot of PrEP and preventative measures, and a lot of that, the way they do their stuff is a lot of people don't even have insurance. You can go through Q-Care and talk with them, and they can find assistance and ways to help you pay for your medication and what you need to be able to... for either prevention, or if you find like Vivint Health or anything, they will find ways to help you with resources.
Same with Mr.
Yeah, Mister's another good one. So there are things out there, but we're this close to bringing it off a global pandemic, and We can get there again, though. We can get there. So,
I do not look worried with measles.
but here's good news. I have good news.
Good news.
Mayor Madami.
Mamdani.
He
Hey.
it's the New York City Fire Department head, the head of the NY.
She's a lesbian.
She's a lesbian, and she has 30 years of experience in both the EMS and the FDNY. And so she's one of the most qualified people for that. So she got put into that position, which has been incredible. Obviously not with backlash that she has, but I thought that was a really big step for, I mean, New York is always sort of progressive scene. So it's going to be really exciting. Elon Musk was not happy about it. And the mayor, Mr. Mayor, said she's the most qualified with 30 years of experience, not like somebody with no government experience going in to run a complete department to the ground.
And cut hundreds of thousands of jobs.
For no reason, which they're hiring back now.
Right.
So I thought that was really good news that, this, even in this world that is trying to bring down queer people, we have a build them up moment.
Build them up.
Yeah, that's amazing. So congrats to her.
Mazel tov to her.
Yeah.
Do you know her name?
Huh? I did.
Was it in your notes?
I think it's in my notes. Probably not.
Anyway, well, he looks through his notes.
Oh, no, but I did write Can Cruz down and Meg Bitch Kelly. Oh, because they were all pissed off about it. And then some old Minnesota state senator said that she's only an expert in pronouns. I thought that was funny because he said she is an expert in pronouns.
That's the thing. All these people who are bitchy about pronouns use pronouns. So, like, whatever.
Right.
Okay. Well, if you're queer and if you're straight and if you're just not a bigot and haven't lived under a rock for the past month, come on. Heated Rivalry? Y'all.
Oh, yes.
Heated Rivalry. One of the greatest television shows to ever come out of existence. And let's be real. What I've learned coming into 2026 with the news is mental health is important. And personally, I will admit, I've been struggling a little bit with mental health and the amount of depressing news and stuff that we've been seeing.
Yes.
And I've battled with trying to find a happy medium and a happy balance of managing the news. In these times, it's important that you stay informed, that you stay up to date with what's going on so that you can help be part of the quote unquote resistance to try and get this country back moving in the right forward direction. However, while doing so, there's a lot of dark news out there, especially impacting our queer community.
Yes.
And so that can really impact mental health. And so I have found myself, which for some of the listeners, this is going to sound shocking. I started reading. Yeah.
You've done so good.
I read a book.
A whole book.
I read a whole book. And like, I started it on the beach in Mexico. So that didn't really count because I didn't really read much because I was like, oh, we're on the beach, fun. So I read like 35 pages in Mexico. And then I was like, okay, whatever. Came home, didn't touch it. And then finally I was like, I need something to get my mind off this. So I picked that book back up and probably 72 hours later, 350 pages, I read that mother trucking book.
Yep.
And
it's perfect.
You know why I read that book? Because it was by the one, the only, the queen of queer hockey smut, the writer of Heated Rivalry's book that it was based off of, the queen, Rachel Reed. Now, did I read Heated Rivalry? No.
Not yet.
Because that book was sold out when I bought the current book that I read. But for those who really liked Heated Rivalry, I cannot recommend enough. She wrote a one-off book. It's her latest one that came out in 2015. Editing mark here. Sorry, that book definitely did not come out in 2015. It came out literally this past year in 2025. 2025, not 2015. And it's called The Shots You Take. And oh my gosh, the emotions.
Yeah, you were crying.
I didn't fully cry, but like
you got there.
It got a little sad. I mean, it does start off, no spoilers, but it's about some retired hockey players that used to be on a team together that go through some hard times and somehow they, come back together and go from there and interpret what you wish. But it is an incredible book, and I truly understand why Rachel Reed had a show based off one of her books. And now, will I be reading the entire Game Changer series? Yes. I already have 4 out of the 6 bought. I pre-ordered book number 7 that was just announced 2 days ago, and I am invested. Now, Game Changer, the series, Rachel Reed, she herself is not queer, but she writes amazing, amazing queer hockey smut books. Now, if my queer ass ever thought that I was going to read, I didn't know this was a genre that I needed, but I grew up in the Northeast, and the one sport that I do like to watch and attend games is hockey. So like Rachel Reed, her books were made for me. Heated Rivalry, that show. I've never had such an emotional, visceral reaction to a show before. Episode 5.
And
was it 5?
No,
6? I don't know.
It was the last one.
No, it was the second to last one. Oh, no, both of them. I'm coming to the cottage. The last one, though, definitely episode, was it 6 or 7? Whatever one. The one they go to the cottage. And I do, let me know if you want this, but like, I'm totally down. Episode, play-by-play, recap series. Let's go. I'm into it. I'll do it with my husband. I'll do it by myself. I don't care. You want it? Let us know. We'll do it. Because Heated Rivalry literally changed my life and also brought this author into my life that is truly changing my life. And she's not just changing my life, she's also inspiring some others to live their authentic selves. And just today, Jessie Kortum, I think it's Jessie Kortum.
Okay.
Jessie Kortum is a real-life hockey player who walked away from the sport out of fear that he couldn't reconcile his athletic career and his sexuality. And now he's crediting Heated Rivalry as he himself comes out as gay.
I think both the lead actors had said in interviews too that like they have so many athletes coming into their DMs to say thank you so much, and like it's an inspiration because they're closeted, they can't come out because of the sports that they're in and just the way the sports are. I get that, but I mean just a huge positive impact.
Correct. So Jessie Kortum says that today he took the step to finally tell his hockey journey and his story, and he's beyond grateful for all the positive comments that he's received. So, I'm not a great reader out loud. Bear with me here, but I do want to read Jessie Kortum's coming out statement, and I want you all to hear his story, and maybe this will inspire some others. And I think it's a really important thing for us all to hear, and I think it's important that everybody can maybe relate to. So, this is Jessie Kortum's coming out statement. In hockey, there is nothing like hitting the ice after the Zamboni leaves behind a fresh, smooth sheet of ice. For many hockey players, the sound of skates carving on that fresh ice is just a normal part of warm-ups before a game or practice. But for me, it's the sound of a place where I felt I had to hide. I want to start out by saying a massive thank you to the Cutting Edges Hockey Club for hosting me this past week at their Winter Classic in Sun Peaks, British Columbia. Standing on the ice, wearing your jersey that represents both my sport and my community felt like a bridge being built over a gap I have lived with for decades. I'm a private person. Those who know me best know that I don't share much, if anything, publicly on social media. But lately, something has sparked in me. Okay, yes, credit to #Heated Rivalry. I realize it is finally time to share a journey I have kept close to the vest for a long time. To any hockey player, the sounds of the rink and the feel of the cold air are unmistakable. The slap shots, the pucks hitting the boards, the skates carving fresh ice, and the high-pitched clang of a puck hitting the post bring immense comfort. For a long time, however, the rink did not feel like a place where I could be all of me. I felt I had to hide parts of myself for far too long. Growing up as the youngest of 4 boys in the #State of Hockey, aka Minnesota, sports and competition were not just what we did, they were who we are. As a young teenager, I carried a weight that did not seem to fit into the world, and I lived in a constant state of dichotomy. To my younger self, that identity could never be revealed. I did not think that those two worlds could occupy the same person, let alone the same locker room. Coming out in the 2000s did not feel like an option, especially with so little positive representation in the media at the time, and it would have been a social disaster at such a large high school. At 17, I walked away from the high school team and the brotherhood of hockey friendships I had developed from a young age for a myriad of reasons. Years later, while living in New York and Atlanta, I found myself back on the ice playing at a high level. While I was out to many people around me in my life at that point, I still could not bring myself to be fully out on my adult hockey teams. On the outside, I was still a top-tier player. On the inside, I was still that kid in Minnesota hiding. Like many closeted athletes, revealing who I truly was to my team would change everything in an instant. Their opinion of me could bring negative attention to the team with a gay player, so I never took that chance. I spent every week in a locker room with guys I respected, yet I still did not feel safe enough to tell them who I truly was. Even when the conversation turned to wives, families, or dating, I would quickly change the subject. If it came down to it, I would just tell them I was single, even when I was seeing someone. The road from that teenager in Minnesota to the man I am today has not been so clear of a path. It involved a lot of searching, a lot of struggle, things I look back on that I'm not happy about, and the difficult work of reconciling with my past and my truth. The struggle to reconcile these two halves of my life reached a breaking point in 2017. I was ready to just remain a closeted player in straight leagues for good, or even worse, hang up the skates forever. I decided to give a gay hockey tournament one last shot by signing up last minute for the Sin City Classic, a gay sports event held annually in Las Vegas, with the hockey tournament sponsored by the LA Blades. I have been to a few gay tournaments before, but never really meshed with the people. This tournament would prove to be a paradigm shift. I met a group of guys from across the US, Canada, who were hockey players like me and who were also gay. From that moment forward, my life has never been the same. It has been a long, vulnerable road to move past the closeted athlete persona, something that I'm still working on today, and find actual peace through the friendships I have developed through hockey in Vancouver, with the Cutting Edges, Toronto, the Misfits, and across the US. This past weekend at Sun Peaks was so much more than just a few hockey games. Standing on that ice, I realized I had finally found my peace. Thank you again to the Cutting Edges Hockey Club for the incredible weekend and for the reminder that there is room for all of us on the ice. This is my story. It is not everyone's story, but for what it's worth, I thought I would share because I want to speak to the athletes out there who are still in the closet and struggling to find their way. I want you to know that there is hope and you're not alone. There is a life and a deep happiness waiting for you on your path. You will get through this and it's going to be okay.
I love that.
Isn't that cute?
It's so cute, and that was
So,
wonderful.
mazel tov to Jesse Kortum.
What that reminded me of, and I had to look up the author because I want to make sure I got the authors' names right, because it's two authors, Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. The books that you got me that for Christmas that I read so quick.
Oh, yeah.
I could not put them down. Is that kind of story right then and there about the being closeted in hockey and not wanting to ruin your team's branding or ruin your chance at being on the team or anything like that. And so those books are another good one. That's the first one is Him by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen, and they are absolutely incredible. I literally did cry tears at each of those books because it also goes through the second book hits really hard on people who go through depression and still trying to find themselves and find their place in the world. And so it's a huge, incredibly uplifting story. I'm not going to ruin anything for you because if you want to read them, and you should.
Oh, no, yeah. I will read them.
Yeah.
Just like I want you to read the one that I read by Rachel Reed, The Shots You Take.
What is it?
The Shots You Take.
Shots You Take, yeah.
It's so good. And it does kind of go through similar topics that he was discussing. And, I haven't read the Game Changer series. I know that it doesn't strictly just follow Shane and Ilya.
Yeah.
Book 7 that's coming out this fall is book number 3 of the Shane and Ilya story. So although there are 6 books,
it follows
there's other players, just like Kip and Scott. Oh my God. Okay.
Can't really nothing yet.
And so, I do truly, especially maybe on Currently Queer, moving forward on some other episodes, I do really want to deep dive more into Heated Rivalry, the show. I also want to deep dive more into the books as we read them. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
But for now, I just thought it would be fun to share that little snippet. Literally dropped today, and he has social media if you want to go follow him. I know he said that he's not big on social media, but he literally launched his social media page today when he announced this story. And so you can follow him, Jesse Kortum on Instagram. That's JESSE Kortum. It's Kortum, KORTUEM. And if you want to read more about his story, it's on out.com, and it's also linked obviously in his Instagram profile. And
That's wonderful.
I'm so happy for him. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I want everyone to understand too is like through these queer. Oh, also, sidebar here. There's Heated Rivalry, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Elliot Page, they have also a new show coming out through Crave, which is based on a lesbian softball team.
That's fun.
So there's more information on that on the internet. And I just briefly saw that today, but I was like, work. But the biggest thing is having this queer representation in media through sports is like, everyone's like, oh, queer heated rivalry and hockey. But like, there's more to it than just hockey. It's these same narratives of being in a team environment and feeling uncomfortable to embrace who you truly are because number one, you're not sure how your teammates will accept you. You're not sure how the fans will accept you. You're not sure how your team will be embraced. Like, it's not just hockey. It can be these same themes and stories can be related to other sports. So I think it's important that we're starting to get these. And also shout out to Crave for really embracing it and not holding back because I personally, and I know that Connor Story has said the same thing, that had that show been produced in America, it would not have been the show that it is because especially where we are, and it was filmed in the spring of 2025, which is under the current administration, and based on where we're at and based on so many of the production companies caving into this fascist regime, there's no way in hell that Heated Rivalry would have been the show that it was had it been produced in America.
Or got picked up for 2 more seasons like Heated Rivalry has. Look what happened with Boots. Boots was amazing.
Boots was an incredible TV show, another show that we should be talking about. And you know why it was canceled?
Because Netflix caved.
Because Netflix caved.
Yep. Netflix caved to the Pentagon's upsetness at the representation of queer people in the military. Hi, I did 6 years in the Air Force. We were there. The amount of times I got hit on by guys in the Air Force, from basic training through tech school, through just being on the base all the fucking time, because queer people are everywhere in every facets of life. So I love that idea. I love the idea of what you're saying. We could even like watch an episode and kind of like talk about an episode on Currently Queer and then move into other stuff. We can definitely blend it into this. It's our podcast. We do whatever we want.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well,
you can spend an entire episode and talk about all 6 or 7 episodes of Heated Rivalry in one episode.
Nah, that would be too long. We'd be here for like 4 hours.
Yeah. So. It would be. It's wonderful. Also, while you were talking, I got the chills. And remember I told you about the chills?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some really good things out there, even in this current world right now. I have kind of one more, and it kind of goes through a lot of what's kind of the driving force, I think, behind so much kind of vilification of the queer community, which is obviously religion.
Which is religion?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I know the look. You don't have to give me the look. I'm well aware. But I will say that even in the religious side of things, there are still good people. There's a pastor in Texas,
That's true,
Alan Bentrop, and he was asked to come give a prayer at one of the city councils, and this is at a town just outside of Dallas. And well, as he was getting set up and getting ready to do that, some of the city council members and some of the constituents of that city found out that the year prior he had held a pride event at his church. And
good for him.
Very good. Well,
it's like in We're Here, another great show.
Yeah.
When they do that one at the church.
So he held this pride event, and some of the city council members and some of the constituents lost their mind. One of the main drag queens that was on there, and it was mind you, it was a kid-friendly drag show.
Which is a thing. I'm tired of people saying that's not a thing.
Is.
It is a thing.
It absolutely is. And that's exactly what this was. There was no, at this drag event, there was nothing wrong at this drag event. Nothing at all. Nothing worse than taking your kids to a football game in, let's say, September, where your cheerleaders are dressed in underwear.
But it's not even that. It's no different to me than saying you go to a football game and somebody has their face painted red and they're decked out in full sports memorabilia
with their shirts
gear.
off.
Or they're like, it doesn't
Right.
even matter about whether you're showing skin or not.
No,
It's teaching someone to be able to be who they want to be and embrace who they are,
Right.
and explore that creatively through expression.
Right. And so the head drag queen, Madam Lexical, Lexical,
Lexical.
Madam
That's
Lexical.
fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like she should be in Wicked.
Yeah, very fun name. Not at this drag thing at this church, but through her social media presence and in other, videos and stuff, she has expressed, using her First Amendment right, freedom of speech, her anti-conservative views, which, I get that 100%. Yeah, be yourself, express it, girl. Same. But
you do you, boo.
They lost their mind over this pastor, and so he goes to give his. I know it's not called a sermon. I can't think of what it's called, but the prayer at this, and he shows up.
Is it just like a prayer?
And the city council says, "Oh, get out because you did that." Well, the reason that he had the Pride event in the beginning, that he set this up, was because one of his people of his fellowship, a mom, had come to him. Her son had committed suicide, and because
Trevor Project,
right? But she had come to him and said that if we had had some sort of pride, some sort of event to show the queer people that they're not alone, that they are here, that they are a part of our community. And this pastor took that and said, we absolutely can do that, and did that. He did that for one of his people. And so one of the things that was that stuck out to me with that is they like to quote the Bible at them. But then when you try to quote the Bible back to them, they get upset. And this pastor stood up in front of the city council as they said, no, you're not going to give this. And he said, and by the way, Madam Lexical, is that what we decided? Lexical and the pastor both continue to receive death threats from people in their town and city. So hopefully they're safe. But the pastor got up there and he quoted Matthew 22:39, love thy neighbor as thyself. Mark 12:31 is the second to the love of God. Love your neighbor as yourself, second to the love of God, i.e., love everyone, God first, then everybody else, right? And then he said, Leviticus, I think it's 19:18, do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself, for I am the Lord. And he said, I want every single person to remember that. That's all he is pushing. And they lost their fucking minds. And you know what? He still continues to do his pride stuff for people. And I mean, honestly, good for him.
Yeah.
Stand up for it and show that that's out there. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. I mean, I'm not a religious queen, but there are some of us out there, and I respect you. And you have,
I'm not either. And you're right. There are people out there who are queer and also religious. We've met a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a couple episodes that we're here that were very moving that involves religion. So
yeah. So and there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
If you are religious in whichever religion that you are, then that's wonderful. I support that. It's the people that use that religion for hate.
Correct.
And it doesn't matter. And it's hate towards queer people in our community, using it in that way, or even in the vice versa. Just don't be hateful. Don't be a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I think it's also just the hypocrisy of it all that really drives me, which is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy of it all is what really irritates me. But
I know.
But that's a conversation for another day.
I just think it's nice to see. It's not a side. I don't want to say the other side, but somebody in that kind of aspect standing up for what they believe is right, even in the amount of ridicule or honestly, I mean, you're in Texas and you're right outside of Dallas. It's outside of that where you get to that more very conservative Southern viewship. And so somebody standing up there and saying, no, I'm going to continue doing this and I'm going to do what I feel is right and be that. It's amazing to see something like that. And that the community that has him, is lucky to have somebody like that.
I totally agree.
So I think it's wonderful. I thought it was wonderful.
I agree, and I like to hear those kind of stories. Number one, because it's inspirational, but number two, because I just kind of love that it really digs at like the Christian nationalists.
I think you like the vindictiveness.
I do.
You like the pettiness, not vindictive.
Yeah,
the pettiness.
It's more the pettiness of it that I think.
Yeah,
I truly appreciate. So, well, that was a fun story.
Yeah, I liked it. Do you have anything else?
I do.
What would you like to share?
I do quickly just want to add before we go, and I'm not going to get too into it. I'm not going to get into the specifics of a lot that we could get into, but I do just want to note that the queer community lost one of our own this past week, and Renee Good was murdered by ICE.
Yes.
And it is very clear what happened. And I just want to acknowledge that, and I want Renee Good's name to continue to be out there, and I want us all to not forget that name. And that's a name that I don't want her to rest in peace. I want her to rest in power, because her death is not something that we're going to just set aside. And her wife and her partner that lost her partner, and her son who lost their mother, is not something that we're going to forget. And it's not something that we're going to just stand by and let us all just accept and move on from. So just wanted to quickly address that. As a queer podcast, the queer community lost one of our own, and she should still be with us today. So I hope that we all remember Renee and continue to fight for Renee Good. And we say her name, Renee Good, because she should still be here today. And there is support out there. If you see ICE, make sure that you do what you have to do.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Yep.
And remember your First Amendment rights. And the biggest thing that was, please just stay safe out there. Look out for our community as we're in some difficult times. And with that, I just wanted to kind of throw that in there to end our podcast today and just say her name, Renee Good.
And this is why you're my husband, though, because that was my last thing that I had wrote on my notes.
Oh. Sorry to steal your thunder.
That was the last thing I had wrote on there. It was going to be Renee Good, and saying, close to everything that you said, and acknowledging the fact that as a community that knew her and didn't know her across everywhere, coming together to raise the money to help her family out. And then I think it was 1.5 million is what they ended up raising. And then for her family and her wife to turn around and stop it and say, thank you so much. We don't need any more. Give to somebody else who needs it. To be that person and say that in this time of grieving while your wife was just horrifically taken from you, it's just horrible. And it just shows, though, the kind of heart and the kind of people that they are, that she was. And so, yeah, I agree with you. Keep saying Renee Good, keep standing up for Renee Good, and don't stop the pressure on them. Yeah. I loved all the Be Good, all the Be Good pins at the, what award ceremony?
The Gold Globes.
What is it?
Gold Globes.
Oh.
Nikki Glaser.
I don't watch any of that shit.
I don't watch it. I just knew that.
I think the Emmys and the Gold. I thought they all were the same. Are they not the same?
No.
Oh. I don't know the difference.
They're not.
I don't know the difference. I was more interested in watching like Drag Race or Traitors.
Oh my God, Traitors! Also, the queer representation on Traitors this season.
Yeah.
Another show we could talk about.
I mean, every year queer Alan Cumming is just gay. Every time he walks out, it's amazing. Except for whatever chicken outfit he was wearing in the last episode.
Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't been to Club Cumming in New York, 12 out of 10 would recommend.
So much fun. I had so much fun. But thank you.
Anything else you want to share?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. From me, I just want to say thank you for embracing me and welcoming me. And I love this podcast. And like I said before, everyone's a little queer, and I love being a part of it. And now being able to have this kind of spin-off like sect or spin-off series as of the podcast, Currently Queer, it's fun for me now to be a part of it. And if any of you guys have anything you want to share with us, or any news stories you want us to share on Currently Queer, or anything fun you want to share on Currently Queer with all the other listeners, or just share with our queer community, please don't be afraid to hit us up on social media. There's links in our link tree if you want to submit things, and we would be more than willing to love to share your stories or whatever else you want us to share with the queer community on Currently Queer, part of the Everyone's a Little Bit Queer podcast.
I love it. Yeah, if you find something that maybe we missed over, or you think, oh, this is super important, we should talk about it, let's do it. We'll talk about it, whatever.
Play.
I love it.
Stay the house down, boots. Gaga.
Okay. And with that, thank you everyone for listening to Currently Queer, the spinoff of Everyone's a Little Queer weekly episodes. We appreciate it. Be good.